Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Mr. Extraordin. I'm not alone. I'm with Rob. And surprise, surprise, we have started something new. Well, I mean, between the two of us, it's something that we've been meaning to do for a very long time.
Mm.
But yeah, this is the first episode of a new podcast, which is gonna be called, or which is rather called, Africa in Frame. Basically, what we're going to be doing is going to be discussing films. We're going to be dissecting certain things, characters, scenes, music, directors, all those things. Uh, I don't know. We just want to share our knowledge, and we hope that you like it. Do you want to say anything to the viewers before we get into it, Rob?
Guten Tag. No, um, no. We want to talk film stuff. Anything film, anything writing. Try to keep things interesting. Have
Yeah,
some fun with it.
awesome,
See what
awesome.
comes.
If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, let us know your thoughts on whatever we're going to be discussing today. So today, since this is the beginning of the podcast, the first episode, we just want to start with Batman Begins. Batman Begins was directed by Christopher Nolan. I believe it came out in 2000 and geez, when was this? Six, seven,
Five.
eight?
I was gonna say five-ish. I think it's
Yeah, some
2005.
somewhere there. Yeah, somewhere there. And look, this is a movie that most of us didn't expect because before this movie came out, Batman was basically a joke. And the reason I'm saying this is the movie that came before this one was Batman and Robin, and it was a very campy film. It didn't take the character very seriously, and yeah, it was just for laughs and to sell toys. It was too commercialized, and basically, it was meant for kids. If you really see it like that. Um, and so Christopher Nolan just wanted to take it back to the Batman, the gritty, dark Batman that people have read in the comics in the 80s. Stuff by Frank Miller, like Batman Returns or The Killing Joke, stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what happened. I just thought I should give people some background on how this came to be. Who's in
Well,
the cast? Mhm. No, please
okay.
continue.
I was gonna say, I feel like Schumacher. What he did was Schumacher being the director of Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
What I think, and he's apologized for the movie actually.
Yes,
What
yes.
um I feel like what he had was a fundamental misunderstanding of Tim Burton's vision.
Right.
Whereas Tim Burton was going for a gothic vibe.
Hmm.
Thingamajig kind of saw it as playful, especially
Right.
with Jim Carrey's Joker. Because remember, that was, what is that?
Jim Carrey's Riddler, but that
Batman
was
Returns, right?
Batman Forever.
Yeah, Batman Forever. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Riddler,
That's
yes.
that's that's the first movie that Schumacher did after Batman Returns.
Yes, you're
So
right.
Batman
And then,
Forever, yeah, I think came out in
mhm.
'97 or so. Yeah.
And you can kind of see how that movie is between the gothic vision and the kind
Mm,
of playfulness. But then instead
right.
of sticking with the gothic vision and creating something like, what's that Tim Burton with Johnny Depp? Okay, that's every movie.
Edward
Sweeney
Scissorhands.
Todd. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Sweeney
Sweeney
Todd.
Todd.
Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Where it balances dark with playful,
Mm,
without being corny like Marvel. You know what I mean? Without like
right.
everyone nudging and winking at each other.
Yes. Because
Like they
people
take Chris.
die.
Yeah,
Because people die in that
yeah,
movie,
yeah,
but it's not so dark that you get traumatized because it's a
yeah.
musical as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And also, I could talk for hours about Jim Carrey's portrayal of the Riddler because people think of it as corny, but if you actually like watch the movie again, you realize, nah, man, like the Jim Carrey took that role really seriously, and you can tell
Yep.
that this man went from
Yeah.
playful, well, not playful, but like let me put it like
Depression,
this.
and he was depressed.
Um, exactly. You know the ridiculous thing that Jamie Foxx did with Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man.
As
Like
Electro, yeah, with glasses and
yes, well,
whatever.
exactly. Jim Carrey did it right. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
He
yeah,
did the perfect version of this nerdy guy who gets wronged. Iron Man tried to do the same thing with Iron Man 3 with Guy Pearce. They took
yeah.
amazing actors. What's his face? Jamie Foxx won an Oscar, and they turned them into bad people because they couldn't get that conversion rate. I feel like
Right.
Carrey. was the best person to get that conversion from like
Right.
nerd to sociopath,
Right.
and while still keeping a level of consistency that makes his character unique. But we're getting distracted. Sorry, my bad. Carry on,
No,
Brian.
no, it's okay. I mean, this is part of it. This is part of it. I also wanted to say, fun fact: Jim Carrey also worked with Schumacher on. Is it the number seven or something? You remember that movie? What's it called again?
It's 27 out of it's got them number like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And that was also a great movie.
Mm.
Great movie.
It was like the
Um,
last time that Jim Carrey tried to be serious.
yeah. So, um, I also wanted to say that Schumacher, it's not his fault, even though he apologized. What happened with Warner Brothers is they rushed to make a sequel of Batman Forever, and then
Mm.
they couldn't get Val Kilmer. Apparently, Val Kilmer was shooting something. I think he was shooting Tombstone or something. So they got George Clooney, who was still working at ER. So what he would do is he would, when he has some few days off during the week, he would come and shoot Batman and Robin. And what's unfortunate is that um, you know, people often say that actors can't really get Bruce Wayne or Batman right. Either they are too Bruce Wayne-ish or too Batman-ish. And one
Yes.
thing George Clooney got right was Bruce Wayne. He got Bruce Wayne right. I mean, come on.
I mean, look at
I
him.
mean,
He is
yeah,
Bruce
he
Wayne.
is Bruce Wayne. He is Bruce Wayne, you know. And who's this? His co-star. Who's this guy? He played Robin.
Gosh, crap. I feel bad now. We
Chris
all know.
Chris Chris
Um,
O'Donnell. Chris O'Donnell.
I it should say Chris O'Donnell. No man.
Yeah,
Uh,
Chris O'Donnell. You're right, Chris O'Donnell. Because there's Jerry O'Connell.
mhm.
Then there's Chris. That's Chris O'Donnell. You're right. He played Robin. He was saying that look, he felt like the second one felt like a commercial. And look, they were selling toys
Yeah.
and they made a lot of money. So that's what Schumacher was saying was a lot of people came in and they were trying to do their own thing and all of that, and that's why it wasn't the movie that ultimately he wanted to make. You know, that's why Batman Forever and Batman and Robin feel different. But to cut the long story short,
Mm.
Batman was seen as a joke again, just like after in the six because after the 60s. So in the 60s there was a TV show, Batman, with Adam West and Burt Ward. It was too campy, very campy. Like it was so funny. I mean, Batman had shark repellent, bro. Like,
Yes.
and he would. There's a scene where he's carrying a bomb, and he's
Yes.
running across the bridge, bro. Like for a long time, and this bomb is not exploding.
It would be so bad. It's good. Like it would be.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's when Tim Burton saved Batman in the 80s. But then Schumacher did what he did, so it needed saving again. That's where Christopher Nolan comes in.
Wait,
And
wait, completely different direction. Yes.
yeah, so obviously it was like, okay, let's reboot this thing. Let's start from the beginning. Hence, Batman Begins. The movie has Christian Bale. Christian Bale is known at the time. He was known for American Psycho. He was in what else was he in? There's a movie that was directed by Spielberg. He was very young there. It's a war movie.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Not Rising Sun, some weird name like that. I can't remember.
Yeah, something about the sun. Yeah, something about the sun. With Kevin Kline in the Joe Pantaliano. But anyway, even John Malkovich was there.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know much about that movie, but Rain of Fire before or after? I think it was before.
Was
Rain
that
of Fire for Christian Bale. I think he was also known for Rain of Fire. I think
Rain of Fire? Okay, I've never watched that one.
one of the Dragons with Matthew McConaughey and Gerard Butler in the same movie.
What?
Matthew McConaughey, Gerard Butler, and Christian Bale all in the same movie, dude.
The main
It's
characters.
yeah. It's technically it's a B movie, but it was shot so well with so much good performances that it became an A movie that should have been a B movie. Like it's better than it's supposed to be for what
So
it is.
it became a cult classic type of thing, or was it a box office success type of thing?
I don't believe it was a box office success, but it was a classic. Like people enjoy it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so that's Christian Bale. Then it has Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul is basically the villain of this movie. He was created by a few guys at DC, one of which was a guy called Neil Adams, who sadly passed away, I think, last year or early this year, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and Liam Neeson has played such iconic characters. I mean, he played that guy from Taken. I don't know his name, but we know the movie. Uh,
Looks itself, yes.
he's played Qui-Gon in Star Wars Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
What else did he do? He did so many things. I mean, he was in Love Actually. You know,
Yes.
he played a superhero, but I forgot the name of the superhero.
Blank Man. No, sorry, not the. I know what you're gonna say. Not Blank Man. Not
It came
the.
out in the 80s or 90s. You remember
Not
that movie?
Darko. I know exactly. Dark Man. I know the movie.
Yeah,
It's weird. It's such a weird movie, but it's
it
so great.
is. But it's good. I think something happened to him. I think he got burnt or something or whatever.
Yes, he got
Yeah,
brutally
yeah,
burned, V for Vendetta style. But then he comes back,
yeah,
gets revenge on the people that hurt.
yes, yes. No, it's a good movie. It also stars Katie Holmes. Katie Holmes was in Dawson's Creek. And she was in a movie, man, with Michael Keaton. She was the president's daughter. I forgot the name of that movie. Um, yeah, I don't know if is there any other project you can think of by Katie Holmes.
Nope.
And
But yeah,
pardon?
I'm saying I don't know why she left the first movie. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know why
Or
she
after she left after the first movie, she went to do I think it's Mad Money with Queen Latifah and Diane Keaton.
really.
Yeah, which was a bomb. I think it bombed.
Yeah, of course it did. I mean, it wasn't a terrible movie, but no, man, that was
It's
a B.
forgettable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
B movie.
yeah. Look, it was. You remember at the time, Ocean's 11 was really good, and there were so many Ocean 11 clone movies that came out.
Queen Latifah was the queen of Set It Off. Set It Off was the
Right,
robbery movie.
right.
I would even argue it's toe to toe with Ocean's 11. It might even be better. Like, at least it's a darker movie. So I don't know. That's a good competition right there. Set It Off
It
versus
might be. It
11.
might be. It might be better in a sense that it was a smaller team, and the stakes were so high that some actually lost their lives.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's true.
definitely. Basic. Everybody died. I don't know if you remember.
Except
Spoiler.
except Jada. Jada's character didn't die.
Characters that, yeah, she gets away at the end.
Yeah,
It's a sad ending, basically. But yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then you have who's this guy? Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman has played such iconic characters over the years. I mean, he plays Jim Gordon. And he was in The Professional, Leon the Professional.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban as who's this guy?
Black. Serious Black.
Sirius Black, yes. He was in the Book of Eli. He was in
The fifth
yo,
element.
the fifth. Yo, we need to talk about Luc Besson's projects and Gary Oldman because so Luc Besson took a break from the professional. He was doing the Fifth Element and then he took a break from that. Did the professional, came back and finished the Fifth Element, something like that, which is crazy.
I don't know that. That's pretty deep. All I
Yeah.
know, Valorant movie of his, I feel bad for him. Like that did not. That I feel like that killed him. The so and so of the thousand.
Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets.
There we go. Yes, that was his baby as well, and it bombed.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Look, I liked it. I don't want to lie. I liked it, but I think, yeah. I think though Valerian was miscast. The main character was miscast. I think someone else should have taken that role. But for me, Carla Delevingne's character, Valerie, man, she was brilliant. Carla Delevingne was brilliant. I felt like she was carrying the movie.
Mm.
Yeah, but anyway, am I missing anyone important in the first movie, cast-wise? Oh, Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow.
Scarecrow, yes.
Yes. Oh, Michael Keaton. Sorry, Michael Caine as
Kane, yes.
Alfred Pennyworth, and then Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox.
Yes.
Obviously, Michael Caine has done a lot of movies, including the original Italian Job.
Yes. The OG Italian.
And Get Carter.
Yes.
And
The nature
Alfie.
of the OG movies. Yes. Right?
Is it Alfie, no? Alfie, I think. Because I think there was a remake of Alfie with Jude Law.
It's got a weird name, but I think that's the name. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you talking about? Yes.
And he was in a movie called Zulu. I think that was his first movie ever.
That was his first movie ever, and that's what made him famous. Yes. That's
yes.
what.
Yes. And then you have Morgan Freeman, who did Lean on Me, Along Came a Spider, Seven. What's this movie that I'm thinking about now with Jim Carrey? Bruce Almighty. Also did Even Almighty. He did Lucky Number 11.
Man's going for the action hits. Let's go for it.
I don't know what else to think about, but he did a lot. I mean, Morgan Freeman,
Daisy, Shawshank Redemption,
$1 Million Baby,
Mm-hmm.
Invictus.
Yep.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, Christopher Nolan is directing this movie. Christopher Nolan now is a household name, but at the time, well, it's not really a household name. He had just worked on a few projects like Memento, I think was his first big one.
Memento.
And then he did Insomnia.
Yes. Which fame, but the thing that really blew him up was, I believe, The Prestige. I think that's the one that really got him up there. And then Batman.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I think.
No, The Prestige came out after Batman Begins.
Yes. Batman rocketed him off, and then Prestige kind of confirmed him as like a, you know what I mean? A standard. And then, of course, then the Dark Knight happened, and
yeah, then boom, he became a household name.
Yes.
Anyway, so the movie starts with I think it's young Bruce. Look, we've had a lot of origin movies in Batman movies, and I think this is one of them because he was watching, I think, The Mark of Zorro, which is an old movie. Fun fact: Batman was inspired by Zorro and Sherlock Holmes and the Phantom. So the Phantom was a comic book character. Zorro obviously is a popular Spanish hero, and you have who's this again that I mentioned now? Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes, yeah, who was created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. The first book that was ever released was A Study in Scarlet. But anyway, Sherlock Holmes because he's a detective, Zorro because he's mysterious and he's wearing a mask, this and that and the third. Has a double identity, and the Phantom, similar thing, has it's a superhero, wears a mask, and so on. Doesn't really have superpowers, just yeah. Anyway, rich and all of that. Anyway,
There's a little extra I want to add on there. There's one IP that you're forgetting that the whole world has forgot. One of the biggest IPs in the world. When I say that this IP was bigger than Batman today, it was bigger than Batman today. It was bigger than Superman today. It was bigger than Spider-Man today. And people don't know it, but it's called The Shadow. Basically, what it is kind of like, imagine if Batman and the Punisher were to mix together. He used to hold two guns. He used to have two personalities as well. Famous rich guy, dark assassin. And what he would do is he would kill people. Like he wouldn't make friends. He wouldn't take you to Arkham Asylum. He'd take two guns and murder you. Fun fact, the OG Batman used to have two guns as well. And used to
Wait, was that the Shadow or was it the Spirit?
No, it's called The Shadow.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were going to talk about the Spirit. I don't know if I'm mixing the names, but I know Will Eisner. Will Eisner did a character called the Spirit. I think it's the Spirit.
I know about. They made a movie out of it with Samuel.
Yes, and it flopped.
Frankie.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. The Shadow. You're right. Was
a mistake. Yeah.
It came out before Superman, by the way. You're right.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So Superman. I mean, the Shadow and the Phantom are older than Superman, and we consider Superman to be the biggest. I mean, the first superhero, but technically he's not. He's just He's just the most famous, I guess,
He's
superhero.
hero. I mean, truth, justice, in the American way.
Exactly.
Buildings in a single bound. That didn't
Yes.
that was a thing before. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then when
Yes.
people started to hear that, they were like, wow. And it was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so they watch a movie, they come out late at night and they walk into an alley. We all know the story. And then Joe Chill is there, he's trying to rob them. And one thing leads to another. Then his parents get killed right in front of him. Obviously, this is a traumatic thing. It messes him up, and he tries to seek justice. Um, so what he does is, I mean, there was a point where he actually got a gun. We're talking about like maybe 20-year-old Bruce Wayne at this point.
Mhm.
When his parents got killed, he was probably like, I don't know, 10, 11. So his parents, I mean, he tries to get a gun to shoot Joe Chill in court, because what happened was he tried the legal route, you know,
Yes.
and unfortunately he lost because, okay, Gotham is a very corrupt
Yeah.
place. The system is so corrupt that bad guys get away with murder, basically.
Mhm.
Because everybody's bought and all of that. And this is why Jim Gordon is so important in the story, because he's trying to do the right thing in a very corrupt and dirty system. To cut the long story short, Bruce tries to kill him, but then I think Rachel Dawes, played by Katie Holmes, stops him. And what he does is he decides to travel the world. You know,
Okay.
pardon?
Can I stop you for a second there?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you three questions. I'm going to ask you one question, actually. Um, there's three events you kind of mentioned there.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you think would be the inciting incident? The moment that actually kicks the story off? Is it one, Batman's parents' death?
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the conversation he has with Rachel, where he stops him and is like, find a better way? Or
Mm-hmm.
number three, the one he has with, what's the guy's name? Not Mourinho. What's the guy's name? The gangster. Because remember in the gangster.
Oh yeah, because so Batman has two mafia bosses
Mhm.
that are very very like prominent in the comics and in Batman lore. I think it's Falcone
Yes,
and Maroni. No?
yes, Maroni and Falcone. Yes.
Yes, I just don't remember who is more powerful. I think Falcone is more powerful.
Well, I know he's in the second game movie, right? Falcone's in the second one, and then Maroni's the first movie.
Both of them are in the first and the second, but Falcone I think got arrested in the first, and
Yes,
then Maroni I think then got, yeah, because
yes,
he was played by Eric Roberts, right?
yes. The
Yes,
perpetual bad guy. Yes.
yes, yes.
Perpetual
Sorry. Which one incites what? Oh, carries the story forward.
starts the story, if you actually think about it. Which is the beginning of Batman? Like, not the opening scene, but the inciting incident that kicks the story off.
I think it's the conversation between him and Rachel. I could be wrong.
Thinks, I mean, yeah, you could say that, because at that's the moment where he gives up his life of riches, isn't it? Or is that
Yeah.
or is that with the gangster? But yeah, but it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because he doesn't try to hurt. It's interesting because there's this one talk about storytelling that I love, where basically you get told like, in old school Disney stories, right, and in a lot of Broadway plays,
Right.
what you'll notice, what they do in a lot of musicals, is everyone states their motivation. You know,
Right. Right.
so you get Falcone Maroni's motivation,
Right.
you get Rachel's motivation. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like this is their motto. This is
Right.
her motto. This is
Right.
his motto, and you
Right.
kind of get to witness all of them. Because a part of me believes that, well, understands that. I think Batman is a story of identity. But anyway, I just wanted to know what you thought about that. Like, has that like thought about that? Like, what's the inciting incident that really kicks it off? That kicks off Batman's identity, or what? However you feel the story flows.
But what did he say to Maroni though? I mean, what did Maroni say to him or Falcone? One of the two.
Says Maroni says you don't understand this world. You live up above. Yes, you're
Right.
died, but that means nothing to any of us.
Mm.
We've all gone through the same stuff as you. It doesn't mean anything. Even with your dead parents, even with everything that you've lost, you're still a fancy rich boy. You know,
Mm.
still
That's
not.
true. He's still privileged. He's still entitled. He's still.
Exactly. And that's
Right.
when he decides to give up all his stuff and then sacrifice.
Yes. I
That,
think in the movie he gave up his riches for 8 years.
yeah, he abandoned it for like about, yeah, I think you're right, about 8 years, yes, before.
Yeah. To a point where he even started stealing his father's company resources. And he
Wait,
started learning different languages. I think at a point he was speaking Chinese or something.
it's Tibet, right? So yeah, it would be Chinese, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, while in prison, he meets this mysterious guy who's also there. And this mysterious guy is played by Liam Neeson.
Mm.
So they get to know each other. So Liam Neeson introduces him to a secret organization called the League of Shadows. That this organization is basically training assassins, basically, who go out and I guess are vigilantes trying to do good in the world, albeit through very, I guess, they use brutal methods to put their point across. You could say Punisher type of.
Well, to be fair, what they do is again we get the third philosophy. We get
Right.
the philosophy of the League of Shadows, which is it's definite. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like everyone else's philosophy is almost wishy-washy. Their
Right.
one is specific. Their
Yeah.
one is you have a certain amount of power. With your
Right.
power, you should be
Right.
able to do X, Y, Z.
Right.
And Bruce is into it. He's
Mm.
into that 100%
Right.
until you discover that their power, that they want to use their power to help people. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm.
And then when they want to murder the farmer guy, then Bruce is like, wait, what? You know what I mean? I love that. Like that whole like the cult almost breaks at that point. Like his
Right.
indoctrination.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's true. Because obviously, okay, Russell Gould teaches him, trains him sword fighting and all these things, different methods of doing things, how to be stealth and all of that. And you're right, it gets to a point where they are testing him that, look, this person did something wrong. We need to kill him. This is your opportunity to prove yourself. And it's like, no, I cannot do it. They're like, dude, you have no choice. This is the way of the League of Shadows. It's either you do this or you're out type of thing. It's like, you know what? I'm sorry. I cannot do this. And I think the reason why Batman doesn't want to kill or has a no-kill rule is because he doesn't want to become the same man who did the same thing that Joe Chill did to his parents. He doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be the reason that made him to be the man he is today, if that makes sense.
It does, but the question is though, wasn't he about to shoot Joe Chill in the face?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that
Exactly.
contradict. So like what is it? Is it Rachel's influence pouring over him? Is it him? Is it a part of his identity? Is it a part of Rachel's identity spreading over him? What is it that stops him from killing these people? Do you know what I mean?
That's a good question because fun fact, Rachel is actually an original character in the movie. She didn't exist before in the comics.
Of course, yeah.
So so it was, if we're talking about Batman in general,
Mhm.
I don't really know the reason why he has a no kill rule. But in
Wait,
the movie,
yes,
you could say that it was Rachel's influence.
yeah. Oh, fair enough. Well, I mean, I know in the books, I mean, sorry, in the comics, they're always like, yeah, Batman doesn't use guns, not because he's bad at them. Nah, he could be like Deadshot right now. Just
Right,
headshot, headshot, headshot. He could do that. But
right.
because he can do that, he doesn't do that.
Yes,
Sense.
yes.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
also, Batman for me, the more I think about him, as much as I love him, he's my favorite superhero of all time, number one.
of course.
I just feel like, don't villain eventually catch on that this guy is not gonna kill us eventually?
Oh yes, in every single interpretation of Batman, they've caught on. Even in the Dark Knight, remember
Joker.
Like Falcone is like, not just the Joker, but Falcone is like, we've caught on to you. We know you don't. And then he drops him off the building and like breaks his legs, which is
Right.
hilarious. But the point is, they know. Even in the Justice League TV show, which is one of my favorite cartoons,
Right.
Batman of the Future doesn't kill. Other
Whoa, wait, that one kills, bro. Trust me. I
he,
saw it last year. He kills. Trust me, he kills. Batman Beyond kills, like he killed, but obviously that's not Bruce. So
Okay, you're talking about that. I'm talking about Bruce himself, the old man.
oh yeah, no, he doesn't kill. Yeah, no, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. There's this nice little Batman of the Future, Batman Beyond Justice League spin-off where they tie together
Yes,
when they go to the future. Tell me you've watched Justice League. You
I
have.
have. Yeah,
It's a masterpiece, right?
it is.
Did like 2 seasons and like did nothing for like 4 years, right? And they did the last two.
So they did 2 seasons, and then season 3 and 4 was called Justice League Unlimited, where they had more characters in it. But after that, it stopped.
We should really do an episode on that because I would love to talk to you about Hawk Girl because I have a problem with Hawk Girl. But I'm getting distracted because actually we're getting so distracted. I need you to go back to the topic so I can remember what I was going to say.
We were talking about Rachel and her influence, comics, whether Batman in general is no kill rule, guns.
Whose influence is it?
Yes.
Yes, the cult. That's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
I think Christopher Nolan did it better in less than in 1 hour because that movie's got like 2 sections. The movie takes a knife and like slices itself in the middle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Between section.
Right.
I think Christopher Nolan. Please tell me. I think I've asked this before, but I'm going to ask again. You've watched Game of Thrones, right?
Yes, I have.
Fantastic. All of it, right?
Yes, I have.
Fantastic. Okay. I think that 1 hour does better than season 6 with Arya going.
You didn't even finish your statement. I'm sorry. You just cut me off guard. Sorry, with Arya doing what?
Right? When Arya goes to the League of Faceless People, right?
Yes.
Think about it. It's the exact same story, isn't it? It's the same story. Think when she signs up to a cult, gets indoctrinated into it,
Right.
and then escapes the cult.
Yes.
And never keeps the skills.
Right.
To use for himself. But what is the consequence? She just gets to leave and then gets to sail the world with Arya. But with Batman, the consequence is they come to his house and they burn it down. They basically almost destroy his city.
Right.
It's an action and a consequence, which is a point of Game of Thrones. The whole point of Game of Thrones, especially if you watch the first 4 seasons, is an action, is a consequence.
Right.
Christopher Nolan understood this, which is why it's so cool when like you think, oh, is that done? And then next thing you know, they're back. I think that's really cool.
Right.
I just thought that was a fun thought to have.
No, that's a really interesting point that you made there. So let's just say that. By the way, at this point, we are made to believe that Ra's al Ghul is Ken Watanabe. Ken Watanabe has also been in another Christopher Nolan film called Inception. He's the Asian man, brilliant man, good-looking man, very tough, strong. Obviously, in there he was playing this old guy, who barely spoke. But anyway, so basically Bruce rebels against these people, and one thing leads to another. The whole place goes up in flames. They almost die, but then I think Bruce saves Ra's al Ghul's life.
Yes.
Because he nearly fell off a cliff. By Ra's al Ghul, I mean the original Ra's al Ghul, who is not revealed yet, is played by Liam Neeson. And they part ways. Bruce comes back to Gotham. Goes to Wayne Enterprises. At the time, Wayne Enterprises is led by one of the shareholders, I forgot his name, who had a good relationship with Bruce's father. Obviously, when he comes back, he meets Rachel, basically the love of his life. They've known each other since they were kids, and goes and reconnects with Alfred, and meets Lucius Fox. This is when we see the character of Morgan Freeman. Lucius Fox is basically head of Wayne Tech, that focuses on innovation, and I think also does military equipment.
Because like Tony Stark Enterprises,
Wayne at a small scale though.
I'm in charge of R&D, research and development. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, Bruce remembers that when he was a child, he once fell from a well, I think. Oh, he fell in a well, I think.
Yes. Yep. Which
And
movie? Yes.
I think that place was full of bats.
Mhm.
And then
And
his
it's
father,
the theater. Yes.
pardon?
It's the reason they had to leave the theater in the first place. Yes.
Oh, because there was a
But
bat.
bats, because they were doing like this Cirque du Soleil on the roof, and
Uh-huh.
the flapping of the capes and all that stuff looked like the bats flapping around him, and that triggered him. And then the parents, being the supportive people they are, were like, let's just leave out the exit. Which who
Yeah.
actually does that? But anyway, they leave out the side exit, which leads them directly into an alleyway. And then that's what causes the shooting, which causes Bruce's guilt, which I think doubles back to him saying, yeah, let's use bats kind of thing. You know what I mean? This is the thing that
Yeah.
scares me.
And
Yeah.
where was Alfred this day?
Hey, I guess you don't invite the butler to the place. I guess he was just at home.
What I just mean is, where was the car?
See, that's a funny thing. What I think is, because I've thought about this for years. It's so funny that you say this. Why are they in an alleyway? It's a theater. Who's ever
Right.
walked out of a theater in an alleyway? It's impossible. Where would they park?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense. The only that makes sense is if you go to a movie theater, right? There's a little door that says exit.
Right.
Which who walks through that door? That's why I think
Unless it's a fire escape type of door, right?
it's a fire escape. That's the only logical explanation. Otherwise, the movie doesn't make sense. They
Yeah.
to walk out the front door to an alley. It's impossible.
Right.
Yeah, and there's no way that people that rich don't have a valet.
That's why I'm asking where Alfred was, because I'm sure he's the chauffeur. I'm assuming.
Which means the only explanation, this is my inner writer coming out to explain it, is that it was a emergency exit, a fire escape. So they were like, instead of walking through a bunch of people, they went through the emergency escape, and that will immediately lead you outside. So that kind of makes sense, even though I'm that's not happened. If that's the excuse, I'll accept it. Anything else, it's just gonna call it a plot hole.
Yeah, but also I'm thinking they probably told Alfred to come and fetch them at a specific time. They didn't expect Bruce to be triggered by a bat scene or whatever looks like a bat. So they left earlier than expected. That's why Alfred was not there.
And then they were like, let's take a walk in an alleyway at night in Gotham.
In Gotham.
Yeah, let's go chill at the concession stand. I'll buy a beer. Kid, you can have a soda. Let's just chill over here in the lobby. No, it's impossible.
Right. But look, when this storyline was created, it was possibly back in the 30s, 40s. So
it's the original one, yes.
Yes. So they just went with that and really didn't give it much thought. So it's fine, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you.
Where were we? Okay, so yeah, he realizes how corrupt Gotham is, and after getting all that training, obviously he wants to do something good, but instead of you going full throttle with that philosophy that from the League of Shadows, he's like, no, I'm not gonna kill people, but I'm gonna try and save people. I don't want kids to end up like I did. So I'm gonna take the law into my own hands because the system is corrupt. So how can I do this? The only way for me to do this is to disguise myself because I'm a billionaire, I'm rich, people know me. So I have to scare the people who scare other people. So I need to scare criminals. And yeah, you're right. He remembers that he's frightened of bats and he starts now, forging certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he does the batarang. He takes the costume. He models the costume after a bat, but uses some elements that he got from the League of Shadows, like those pointy things that they have on
the shredder, the cheese graters.
Yeah, the cheese graters. And I think they're retractable. Are they not? I guess it is.
Second movie.
Oh, in the second movie.
That's to shoot, yeah. But in the first, don't shoot.
Oh, okay. And yeah, so he goes out at night. Obviously, he's a bit rusty because, first of all, he's using certain things that he didn't use before. I mean, he uses the, what's that thing? Like a glider or something. I don't know what to call it.
Grappling hook.
Oh, grappling hook. Thank you so much. He uses the grappling hook because obviously Gotham is a very it has a lot of, I guess you could say it's like New York or something, in a sense that there's so many
Yeah.
buildings.
Size.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of skyscrapers. So obviously
Yeah.
he's not a web slinger like Spider-Man, so he needs to
Exactly.
use something to travel.
Hmm.
Yeah, some of his missions don't go so well. I mean, I remember there's a particular scene where he crash lands into someone's apartment at night
Yeah. When he's
or
talking to Gordon
something like that.
the first time and he hits his chest against it, he's like, "Oh, I felt that one." And then he's, "Yo, I need your help, bro."
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And he eventually meets a guy called what's that guy's name again? What's Scarecrow's name again? His real name?
I actually don't know. I just know him as Scarecrow. Let's just call him Kid.
Yeah. Anyway, this guy is a lawyer, and
Mhm.
he's actually working for Falcone, I think.
He's a psychologist. I'm correct, not a lawyer, because how he works for Falcone by giving all his people insanity. He says, I'm a trained psychologist. These people are all mentally ill. So take them to this, so don't arrest them. That's
Hmm.
kind of what he does.
Oh,
And then,
okay. I thought it
yeah.
was a lawyer. Okay, but anyway, he has a mask that has fear toxin,
Mm-hmm.
and once he obviously releases this fear toxin, your sort of like your biggest fear sort of manifests. Obviously, it triggers your brain somehow. I think it triggers the part of fear in your brain, and that's what you see. So what Batman saw was himself, a very dark version of himself. Like if think of Batman costume, but instead of the part where you see his actual face, it's just full on black. That was a scary scene. Eh?
Yeah.
And yeah, it messes him up because obviously he's still afraid of bats.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what happened, but eventually Scarecrow leaves him, and then he calls Alfred. Alfred fetches him, and yeah, he keeps on trying and trying night after night. But at the same time, as Bruce Wayne, he's trying to basically, get to this whole Wayne Enterprises thing. He's trying to find his feet there in the corporate world. But it's tough because some of the shareholders don't like him. They think he's a spoiled brat who
Yeah.
left for 8 years
Yeah.
without. So basically, according to them, he's a loose cannon because he left his father's business without a care in the world, and all of a sudden he comes back and he wants a part of this. Yeah, like what's we're not gonna trust you. I mean, you don't even know what the company's gone through over the years. Why would we trust you? So basically, this character has two problems that he needs to solve. During the day, it's the business. At night, it's mastering this thing that he has now started, this vigilante thing. And yeah, those are two. I like that. I like the fact that what Nolan does is he creates so many villains, but all of them, whether big or small, are thorn in Bruce's and Batman's flesh. Both characters have villains that they need to
Yeah.
to fight, and that's interesting. And they're not cheesy, they're not corny, they're realistic. These are
Yes.
realistic things. But anyway, I think there was a drug shipment.
Well, that's his debut. Yeah. When he catches Falcone, Moroni. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Obviously, he finds out about it and then goes there, stops Falcone. Falcone goes to prison, and yeah. Am I leaving anything important around that time?
Well, I mean, I feel like there's deeper undertones, but otherwise, I think you're explaining it pretty well. Yeah.
That's pretty true. Obviously, he built a good relationship with Lucius Fox.
Mm-hmm.
in the process, because Lucius Fox is the one that basically helps him develop this costume. It's the one who helps him, with technology, with the Batmobile and all of that. And what's so interesting about Lucius Fox is he's very discreet. And
Mm.
this is something that becomes a bit of an issue in the second one, because he was so discreet that Bruce was willing to do something that questioned Lucius Fox's morals in the second one. And he was like, you know what, if you continue with this, I'm going to have to tender my resignation,
Yeah.
because you are basically invading people's privacy at this point. But Bruce had to do what he had to do, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
Forest.
Pardon?
You had to burn the forest.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
metaphor from something that Alfred said to him, where he's like, "How did you catch the criminal?" "Oh, we burnt the forest down to catch him." So
Right.
that's basically the visual element of the metaphor that they were using. So when Batman basically flushed out the entire city of all its information to catch the Joker, that was
Yeah.
him burning the forest down to catch the Joker. He
Right.
was sacrificing his morals, or rather, his morals and Lucius's morals. Even if it was
Mm,
just so he
yeah.
could get this guy. Yeah.
That's messed up, bro. That just goes to show how smart Joker was.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so I think there's a point where Rachel had to be killed. I think she had vital information about something, and then I think
Yeah,
people
she was
were.
close. Yes.
Yes, and then that's when she meets Batman for the first time. And what was so interesting about this version of Batman, and this is something that Christian Bale did very well in this movie, not the others, this particular movie, is that he changed his voice as Batman. He didn't go too far. He wasn't like, no, he was just like, people are after you. It was a bit of a whisper,
Mm.
but with a bit of a subtle voice, so that you don't really identify that this is Bruce speaking.
Yeah.
And that was really smart. Um, anyway, so as Bruce Wayne, he loves Rachel and he's trying to get her, he's trying to win her.
Mm-hmm.
But Rachel is not impressed whether because
To the point
Bruce,
where it's annoying, but yes.
pardon?
Like, to the point where it's annoying. She's so self-righteous. But yes,
Yes,
she's
because
just
Bruce tries everything, bro. There's even a famous meme where it's like, no, I forgot, but there's a whole meme where it shows different versions of Bruce, or as Batman, as whatever, and and Rachel turns him down every single time.
just not feeling a nigga, dude. Like at that point, what can you do? Nigga,
Oh my goodness.
thing.
It's a sad situation because he never actually got Rachel in
Yeah,
the first two movies. He never, 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 never.
it ends with him never getting. Yeah, it never happens.
And I guess that's messed up because he's a playboy. He can get any girl he wants, but not Rachel.
Yeah, isn't it kind of ironic? Peter Parker is the biggest nerd in the world.
Yeah,
Girls right and center. Uh,
yeah.
Mary Jane. What's the other lady's name again? What's
Gwen
her name?
Stacy
Gwen Stacy. You know what I
and
mean?
Felicia Hartman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Me, Batman, superstar, billionaire,
Who does
just
he who does he get?
get,
Selena Kyle. A
get
thief.
maidenless.
But Talia was hot. But yeah, that's a story for another day.
That's a third one though.
Yeah, yeah.
And even just
Anyway.
using him, to take over the just to get the nuclear warhead, and Selena Kyle in it for the money and the and the clean slate.
And she basically led him to get his back broken by Bay.
Yeah,
Which yeah, we'll get to that.
and
But
it's
anyway,
to give
pardon?
it back. Anyway, yeah.
um what happened is I'm trying to connect the dots here
Mhm.
of anything major that happened. Um anyway,
Well, we're still in the second act right now. We're still in the build up. Yeah.
right. So I'm just trying to get to where Russell Gould.
That's more third act. Well,
Yes.
I know you have described it as a four-act structure, but let's just pretend it's a basic three-act structure. That's a third act, maybe the midway point even. No, I think the house burns down at the midway point. No, the house burns down at the dark part of the soul. I don't know if you know I don't know if you know what I'm talking about even.
The what?
It's called the dark something of the soul. It's basically the darkest point of the movie. For example, in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, when they're all like talking, they're all like sitting together and that thing, and they're all like feeling miserable about themselves before they come up with a plan to attack. That's how that kicks off the third act. Then you kind of get the final battle. I feel like when the house burns down, that's kind of everything at its lowest point for Batman.
Right.
Together as Alfred lifts him off of the thing, gets the thing. I'm jumping ahead of the storyline, but anyway, this is still it's the difficult part of any writing process, the second act.
Yeah.
You got to explain a lot of stuff. You got to build a lot of stuff up before the action starts.
Right.
And that's kind of what's happening right now, the build-up.
So anyway, people start knowing about this Batman character, even the criminal masterminds like your Falcones and whatever. Also, I think I left an important piece of information. His father had built a bridge, I think.
Yes.
Or a train or something.
A line of trains, like
yes. Because that plays a huge role in the story. But to cut the long story short, Russell Gould gets access to this fear toxin, or he's the one that gave the fear toxin. I don't remember if he gave the fear toxin to Scarecrow or he got it from Scarecrow, but he produces it at a mass scale to such an extent that that gas infects the entire city, right? But this is the fourth act, no? Or is it the third act?
Third act, yeah. Well, that actually kicks off and the gas goes off. Yeah, that's the real third act kicking off right there.
Okay, so basically, so the house burned down before, no?
Yeah, was before.
Okay, so Bruce hosts a party, and at this party, and this is one of my favorite scenes of all time. Russell Gould comes in. Totally unexpected because we didn't expect that he would be there. Because the last time we saw him, he nearly died. They ended things on good terms. They didn't agree. They agreed to disagree, basically. And then he comes and he's like, "Look, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I came for revenge after what you did, and yeah, let's get to it, Papa. Let's go." And Bruce is like, "You know what? It's fine. You can get me. You can do whatever. But first, man, let's let these innocent people go." Right. And this is what I like about Bruce Wayne. And I think let's get to it just a bit. The ultimate question has always been: is Bruce always Batman trying to play Bruce? Okay, let me put it like this. Is he always Batman pretending to be Bruce, or is it Bruce pretending to be Batman?
Well, okay, number one, I'm going to start that with asking you a question.
Sorry. Let me add the third one, because the same thing applies to Superman as well.
Yes.
Or is he a scared kid who's trying really hard to get over his parents' trauma, and thus has created two characters to survive?
I always feel that one is cheating, but okay.
Okay.
We're saying Kill Bill. Have you seen it, Volume 2?
Was that Kill Bill? Yeah.
Volume 2. You've seen it?
Yes.
Have you seen the speech that they talk about Superman?
That Bill makes about Superman, yes. that he's always Superman.
Yes, and that Clark Kent's demeanor is his critique on humanity.
Yes.
That he thinks that when Clark plays a human, he's the weak, nerdy guy. Well, yes. I think Batman Beyond kind of answered this question by when the mind reading guy tried to defeat Batman, and no, sorry, it wasn't a mind reading guy, it was a shapeshifter. So what happened was he was like, "How do you know it wasn't me? Or like, how do you know that it wasn't messing with your head?" He wasn't a shapeshifter. He was a mind reading guy.
He was a mind reader. You're right. Yeah, I remember that episode.
Yes, and he was like, "Nah, you make a mistake. I don't think of myself as Bruce."
Yeah, he said that guy called me Bruce.
Yes.
And it was like, I don't get it. What does that mean? It's like, I don't call myself Bruce.
Yes, exactly.
It's like you. Oh, okay. But I'm Batman now.
Bars, dude. That was like, I love hip hop so much, and to me, that was some hip hop right there. That was some. You know what I mean? That was brilliant. And in a way, I think and Rachel discusses this. Well, I think again, this is why I say the story is about identity. I feel like it's such a deep question. But basically, technically, I would say he's in between right now. At the end of the thing, I think at that point, he's more Batman than Bruce. Because
Yes.
then, um, Batman already lost his money.
Right.
He gave up his money, you know what I mean? He gave it
Yeah.
up that rich lifestyle. And he was willing to
Yes.
use it again because he doesn't really care that much about it. But the
Right.
Batman stuff he cares about a lot, a
Right.
lot.
Right.
So I think Bruce is a means to Batman, is a means to an end to achieve Batman. So I
Mm.
think he's in between the two, but he's working himself towards Batman.
Right.
Makes sense. He,
Because
mm,
the conversation between him and Russell Gould
mhm.
was basically Batman speaking to Russell Gould. There was no Bruce in sight there.
Yeah,
And I want to get to this that
Batman, but yes.
I want to get to this that how he gets people out was so
Mhm.
fascinating, and this also plays on to his intelligence because he's a very intelligent human being. That's where the Sherlock Holmes part comes in. Is that he pretends like he's drunk. He pretends to be drunk.
Mhm.
Get out! Come here and you drink my expensive champagne. He becomes a jerk deliberately. A sober man pretending to be drunk, pretending to be the spoiled, entitled rich guy who basically
Mhm.
is proving the shareholders right because the shareholders were there. And remember what we said earlier is that the shareholders are basically skeptical
Yeah.
to make this guy, head of Wayne Enterprises or Wayne Tech or Wayne Corp, whatever you call it, because they see him as a loose cannon. And this proves their point. That's why one of the guy that we kept talking about, he looks at him and says, "Your father would be very disappointed in
Yes,
you."
actually, I was gonna say I don't think that guy was a shareholder per se. But what he was someone who was sincere because the shareholders were all not sincere, the board members,
Yes.
but that
Yes.
guy was sincere, and I'm sure that hurt him because yes, he is giving up Bruce. That's why I say he's not completely Batman yet.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
that wouldn't have hurt him if he was completely Batman. There's still
Right.
Bruce in there who looks up to his daddy. That's why we get that scene of him in the train as a kid talking
Right.
to saying this is the value of the train. See, that's
Right.
what writing does. It does two things. A, it sets up the train for the final battle.
Right.
And then number two, it sets up, oh, Bruce really looks up to his dad. He looks up his dad like a fucking like a heavenly figure. You know what
Right.
it
Right.
says? That's what good writing does. Does at least two things. So that's what I mean to say. Like that's so good. Yeah. But yeah, so when that line hits, you're like, okay, Bruce is still there. That's why it hurts so much. But
Right.
he's do it because now he's becoming Batman. Yeah.
Mm, 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 mm. So anyway, he chases
Yeah.
the people out, and then they start fighting. Obviously, Bruce loses the fight. He's outmatched because, I mean, obviously, Russell Gould came prepared. He came with so many people.
Yeah.
Alfred was basically tending to all these people, making sure that everybody's going home safely, gets into their cars, and once this happens, Russell Gould beats him to a pulp. Then he burns the Wayne Manor. And just when all hell breaks loose, just when we're losing this guy, Alfred comes to the rescue. Right. Then, um, yeah, that's when Russell Gould, I think he has this, he has mass produced this fear toxin, so much so that it basically fills the entire city. So what happens to the city now is everybody is influenced by the sphere toxin, so they see their deepest fears everywhere, whether
Yeah.
it's a horseman going by or it's a rabid dog or whatever. So, and this is what's so brilliant about Batman villains is that some of the things that they do, man, sometimes it's so hard to even trace the source of all the atrocities that might happen in one night. I'll give you an example. In the second Batman film, Joker plants bombs in two ships.
Mm-hmm.
One ship is filled with criminals and another ship is filled with civilians. And he gives them basically a time limit to say, by this time, you guys need to decide whether you're gonna bomb those guys or you're gonna bomb these guys. So in as much as it is Joker's plan. He is nowhere near any of those ships. So with Russell Gould, for instance, if people in Gotham end up killing each other because they are trying to protect themselves from whatever they are seeing, based on the fear, which is basically it's like people killing each other thinking that they are seeing other things.
Mhm.
That is brilliant because people are killing themselves, even though he did this, but people are killing themselves because of it. That's
Yeah,
brilliant for me. That's brilliant writing.
yeah, absolutely. And remember, it's a scary. Gotham is already a scary place.
Right,
So these people have been living in fear their whole lives before Batman.
right.
So why would it change now? Now it's amplified to infinity, and
Yes.
they even lock them out. They lock the people of the central Gotham out of the suburbs, basically. Then they
Mm,
put the bridges up. You know what I mean, like New York style,
yes.
which is crazy when you think about it. But yeah, and then that's how that kicks off the final battle, basically, as he chases down the train. I mean, there's all about his Gordon escaping to go get. What does he go escape to get again? Because he gets to
Wasn't
use.
it access to water or something? Water pump, water pipes or something? I don't remember.
Oh, I think he went to go fetch the anecdote
Yes, but where did you get it?
from Batman. Because I remember they split up. Batman then chases after the train, and then Gordon gets in the car, jumps the bridge to go do something.
What was in the train again? Was it a bomb?
No. Remember, the way that they've been making the gas is by
Mhm.
that EMP thing that basically creates radio waves that are so powerful that it makes water evaporate. Because
Mm,
remember, the thing that the scarecrow thing isn't really a gas; it's a poison, right?
mm.
Poison liquid form, but it only works as a gas. So when it turns into a gas, that's what actually makes you go thingamajiggy. So
Right.
they're pumping that stuff in the water for weeks. It's everywhere. It's in your bath water,
Mm.
which is actually kind of where the jokes come in. How come no one boils water and then goes crazy? But it's a hot shower.
Right.
You know what I mean? Never happened.
Right.
That's one of the people that people make fun of. But the point is, the poisoned water is everywhere now.
Right.
And then in order to turn it into gas, they have to make it evaporate, which is what they
Right.
steal the emitter from the Wayne Enterprises because it used to belong to Lucius. Uh,
Right.
that's how they tie Lucius into the storyline. But yeah, so now the train is heading towards Wayne Enterprises because not only do they have the biggest trains, they run the water supply in the city. So
Right.
below that water supply up, it's a nuclear wave of gas flying over the entire city.
Jeez.
It only hits the slums.
Mm.
So now, if it hits everyone, who knows? It's basically like that scene from what's that movie again? Samuel Jackson and the Kingsman. you know,
Kingsman Secret Service.
yes, you know that scene where like the thingamajig makes everyone go crazy. Same principle.
At the church scene. You
Yeah,
remember the church scene?
final scene, but yes,
Yeah.
church scene too. Yes, but
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, they have to stop the train before the emitter hits the main water supplies because once that blows, there's gas everywhere.
There's no stopping that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, there's something that the more you speak, the more I realize that, okay, I've always thought about this. I just never voiced it out, but you've made it more amplified. Commissioner Gordon always does something heroic in all these movies.
Mm,
So Batman and Commissioner Gordon both do something in the third act. Both of them always do something in the third act that is heroic in all three movies.
yeah.
Lucius Fox and Alfred also do something heroic in all these movies as well.
Mhm.
Michael Caine's Alfred saved Bruce from the fire, which is something that nobody sees, by the way.
Yeah.
Lucius Fox helps with the technology, like you were saying, that I guess gave it to Gordon, according to explanation.
No. Okay. The gas emitter thing is something that was R&D made for
Right.
the enterprises. That was a thing that had already been made and was stolen in the beginning of the storyline.
Oh, okay.
To Batman. And then he also makes the cure. He also makes the cure for the scarecrow toxin, which he gives to Gordon in order to mass produce something like that. I can't remember. But
Right.
yeah, yes.
And I think we underestimate the brilliance of Lucius Fox. He's a very smart man,
Of
smart
course.
black man, and it's amazing. What's his, Morgan Freeman also always makes sure to choose the right role. or a role that doesn't misrepresent a black man, for the most part.
I was gonna say,
So
driving Miss Daisy.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying for the most part, because I'm thinking of
Yeah.
some roles that he played.
I think he represents really well. I mean, this man is
Yeah.
love everything he does. So yeah.
Yeah. No, he never. Okay, let me not say never, but he hardly misses.
Yeah. Maybe put it like this.
But
Like Gary Oldman, he's the best part of whatever he's in.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Those are characters. I
right,
love that
right.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, to cut the long story short, Bruce tries to stop the train, but he's stopped by Ra's al Ghul. They go into a fight, and eventually Ra's al Ghul, I think he dies. I just don't remember how he dies, but
Basically, Batman beats him down, and then he kind of does the Joker type thing where you're gonna have to like, what are you gonna do now? You know what I mean? And then Batman's like, well, you're right. Are you gonna? He's like, are you gonna kill me? Hmm? And then he's like, I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either.
yeah,
And then he bounces, and then he
yeah,
just leaves the train to blow up. But
right,
I think the emitter's turned off at that point. But yeah, they get
yeah,
rid of the emitter so that way it doesn't blow up the water tanks. And
right.
then
But it destroys the bridge, though.
yes, they do destroy the father's bridge,
Yeah,
which one could argue is when Batman becomes Batman because it was
yeah. It's
he,
symbolic. It's symbolic, definitely.
hmm,
Because that's the last connection that he has to his head. I mean, the house is burned down, so
yep,
obviously that's also
yep,
it's messed up. The bridge is also gone, so
yep,
it's like the things that he held dear that his father had built, they're all in ruins, you know.
exactly.
And then Commissioner Gordon also gets the antidote, and he does what he does, and everybody
Yeah,
is, I guess, yeah, Gotham is saved, right?
yes.
And
Slum can be, but yes.
pardon?
As saved as a slum can be, you know what I mean? There's no tensions going around.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. It's a temporary solution to a serious problem that cannot be fixed in a day.
Yeah,
And then later we see Bruce basically looking at the house, and Rachel comes and says, "Hey, how you doing? What are you gonna do now that the house is burnt?" It's like, you know what? I'm gonna start from scratch. I'm gonna rebuild it brick by brick. And for me, that's one of my favorite lines ever, because
hmm,
he could have bought new land or got another house, but the fact that he built it from scratch also speaks to his character, because
yes,
yes, I'm a mess. I'm still dealing with the trauma I've experienced as a kid, but I'm building myself from scratch. I'm gonna become CEO of an enterprises. I'm gonna become a great hero, but I'm gonna do it one step at a time. I'm not gonna rush it. I'm gonna try my best to do it one step at a time. That's for me. That's what it meant.
hmm.
Yeah.
I would agree with that mostly. I'm not a big fan of the I'm still a kid thing
Mm.
because to me it feels like it makes fun of people with mental trauma, with
Right.
PTSD. Because what you're saying is, okay, I get it, because technically there is a thing where you become stunted, yes. But you can't really say the smartest guy in the world is stunted, if that makes any sense. The
Okay.
most academic, business like it, forward thinking, functional human being that will ever exist is stunted. Rather, what I would prefer we say is what's a better way of saying it that makes sense to me? I'm trying to think. Thing is, we all have complexes, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
We do. We
We
do.
all, I call it, there's something fuck, I feel like I'm going deep now. There's something I
Please
call
do.
deep when I was young. It's called child promises. When you're a kid,
Mm,
there are certain promises you make to yourself
right.
that never go away, if that makes any
Right.
sense.
Right.
Where it's like, this will never happen to me again. And your brain goes, all right, because your brain is a computer. Your brain is a computer that designs itself to go, it's
Right.
with chat GPT. It locks you in on something and it gets it done.
Right.
And that doesn't mean you're still a kid. It just means you have what can you say, complex purposes that date back really far back. That's all it really means, in my opinion. So that's why I kind of feel like I relate to people like Batman and Naruto, and Rock Lee, because they all had kid promises, if that makes sense. Again, I feel like I'm looking like a crazy person. But all these characters in fiction, they all had these young promises that have stuck with them forever. And you work through it, and you work, if you're well balanced, you work through it. Because when people say, like, the way they say it like that, it sounds like, okay, if Batman got his life together, he'd stop being Batman. Would he?
No, I don't think he would.
You know what I mean?
It helped. It helped to motivate him to be Batman, but
Hmm.
I think it helped him to become less entitled to what he has.
Of course, yeah. The pain that he went through, definitely. I mean, especially more modern when he goes into the thingamajiggy. Definitely. I mean, I don't say it defines you. It alters your brain chemistry in such a way that you can't re-alter your brain chemistry once you reach a certain age. If that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Alfred, I think, comes and says something to him. I just forgot what he said.
I just know it was really cool when he says, like, you know, outside of putting things from brick to brick, what if we add a little bit of space over here? Add a little space over here. They started like start setting up the Batcave kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, snap, this is where it's going. Yeah.
And you know what I like about the Batcave is they made it so interesting because there's two parts of it. There is an actual cave with bats and everything, but there's this area which is just it's like a hall, which is plain, but there's nothing in there except where his costume is and maybe a few, I guess you could say, a few counters where he can find his stuff.
Tables for all the equipment that he buys. Yeah. That's what's exciting about it. That's why I love Christopher Nolan so much. This is why I think Christopher Nolan was 90% perfect for Batman, because he uses practical effects. So if that's in a sound room, I think Batman's not as good a movie. Does that make sense?
If what?
If the Batcave had been a sound room where it's a big square, and then they just spray paint the walls, well, green screen, and then the Batcave is green screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
The movie's bad now. The movie's bad. That's what I think. If they took the Batmobile and then instead of making an actual tank, they just took a motorbike and then put what's that thing called? Microplastic or whatever it's called on the case to make it look like metal. Batman's a bad movie.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know, you've seen the behind the scenes of the Batmobile. That car rocks. Like that car is a car.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, you can tell his love for the. By the way, we still. Sorry, I feel like I'm jumping ahead. We haven't talked about.
No. Please continue.
I think that, okay, first of all, we still talk about the writing element, but just talk about the directing element itself. The practical effects make the movie absolutely bananas. Because if Schumacher had done it, because Schumacher's movie, right? Batman and Robin, you can kind of tell they're in a soundstage. Do you know why?
Yeah.
Jackie Chan talks about the wide shot. If you want to see, if you're a professional, you want to do it right, put it in a wide so you can see. Because everything's practical, you get a lot of wides. It's open. You see everything.
Right.
There's
depth of field as well. Like you see, like you're saying, there's a lot of you see that this is not a stage, a sound stage, or like you were saying, where like in sitcoms, you cannot see the other side of the room.
Yeah. I never got that impression. With the Batman movies. Yeah. This man pulls that camera back. I'm sure they must have done some trickery, maybe some wires or whatever to do the actual sliding scene. But I'm sure wherever they were, it was cold. Do you know what I mean? That was real ice. It wasn't ice. I'm sure they put something to like I don't know what they did to like make it practical.
That's called panning, right? When the shot is basically
Yeah, panning is a good word. Yeah.
yeah.
So,
When it's zoomed out and you can actually see
spins
the
around.
wider.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, panning is when it spins around.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's super wide. I don't know what the name is as well. But yeah, that like it's not Lawrence of Arabia, but at the same time, Christopher Nolan uses the cameras that were used in Lawrence of Arabia
Yes,
because
and it's Ben-Hur as well, right? Is it Ben-Hur or Ben-Hur or whatever?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like ultra wides. Yes, this
This is called that's the IMAX cameras, right?
yes. Well, no, I think he only. I don't know if he used it in the first movie.
I think he used it in The Dark Knight. He started using them in The Dark Knight.
The bank scene. Oh, the behind the scenes for the bank scene for the Dark Knight are incredible.
So wait, so which cameras did he use in this one?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to research that one, unfortunately.
Okay, because with for Ben-Hur, that was the IMAX.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, just want to make it clear for whoever's watching
yes.
this. Yeah.
I know. I'm angry at myself. There's proper names for all this stuff.
It's okay, man. Look, I think the amount of information that we already shared should suffice for now. We can't say everything. Yeah.
I won't say this though. There is one negative about Christopher Nolan that people have pointed out, and when you watch a movie again, you can kind of see it. And that's that Christopher Nolan doesn't know how to shoot a fighting scene.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Quick cut, quick cut, quick cut, quick cut.
It's
You just
true.
see it.
You barely see anything, and
Yeah.
that's sad because when you watch a movie, and I just remembered now, it's a movie that we could have mentioned, but I think it's forgettable, unfortunately. Equilibrium, which is a
Yeah.
movie that Christian Bale did.
Yes.
The fight sequences in that movie are remarkable,
Oh,
outstanding.
absolutely.
So when you have an actor who did those kind of fight scenes, not being able to do them in this movie,
Yeah.
is criminal. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have a budget to get a fight choreographer, or they probably did, but
If they flew to Tibet only for, I just think Christopher Nolan can't do a fight scene. I think that's the problem. Think about it.
yeah.
And so funny is this man has learned to not lean into that, right? So then don't shoot it, because the opening, if you actually think about the opening Batman's debut, how many fights do you actually see there? You just see this man, and then he grabs someone, then he grabs someone. It's like, where are you?
And then you hear gunshots. Yeah.
Just keep doing it like a horror movie. You don't have to
But you know, the thing is, people were gonna complain because people watch Batman for fight scenes.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. That's fair.
But to be fair, also,
yeah,
the good fight scenes are in the third one, though, and it's all thanks to Tom Hardy. That's it. Tom Hardy makes it work.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And also, I was gonna say to counter that, you can say people can say whatever they want about Zack Snyder, but the opening, dude, when they like thing, the Batman vs Superman, the opening where you don't know what Batman is, and you see those like this traffic, and then they're like the policeman's like thingamajiggy, and then they close the door. They're like, he's in here somewhere. He's here somewhere. And like, Christopher Nolan could have done that. He can do that.
Right.
So I feel like Christopher Nolan, if he'd gone with the more horror angle of Batman, the thing that strikes fear into thingamajiggies, Batman would be a 1,000 times a better movie right now.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to lie. Whenever they show people being afraid of Batman, I never really bought it until I saw Batman v Superman. That scene where Batman is like on the ceiling and stuff, and the cops are, oh yo, bro, jeez.
Yes, dude.
You see when they say a creature of the night?
Yes.
That's exactly what that was, bro.
For the first time ever in the history of Batman. See, that's what I love about film and storytelling. We all make a contribution. Yeah. And that was Zack Snyder's biggest contribution to Batman, in my opinion.
Yes. But, you know, we need to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
All Batman projects that came after Christopher Nolan were inspired by Christopher Nolan.
Yes. people blame Christopher Nolan for the age of gritty movies.
Yeah.
Daredevil came after that Batman, if I'm correct. And we all know the memes of like the hero on the roof looking down, like
Yeah.
suspected. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's
You're talking about the Netflix Daredevil, right? Not the Ben
no,
Affleck one.
I think I'm talking about the Ben Affleck one. I'm not sure which one.
No, the Ben Affleck one I think came out in 2002.
Are you sure? All
Yeah, yeah.
right, cool. Well, then the Spider-Man, because there was a lot of movies that came out at that time where like you're like, okay, everyone's trying to be gritty right now. Everyone's trying to be
But
gritty. Everyone's trying to be
Spider-Man
gritty.
Spider-Man 3 definitely
Yeah,
came out after The Dark Knight.
yes,
I mean after Batman Begins.
yes. Trying to think of what the other ones were. But where everyone's trying to be dark and gritty. It's kind of like the reverse of Joss Whedon. I feel like that's what got us Joss Whedon because everyone's trying to be dark and gritty. And it
Yes,
was like,
yes.
let me be the opposite. Let me
Then
be
Joss then
different.
then Joss made it all colorful and it worked for the first Avengers movie.
I would say it worked all the way up until Infinity War, even. I would maybe not that far. Yeah, no, up until Infinity War. But then it got too far. Was like Doctor Strange was like there'd be a serious moment and there'd be a not serious moment, like right
Yeah,
next to
yeah.
this. It's like,
I don't know if you saw a TikTok of this guy who basically says if Lord of the Rings was an MCU film, so someone would say, quickly, we need to make sure that we reach Mordor before sundown. It's like, hey, I don't know, I'm from New York. Someone says that. Stuff like that. Stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. There's 1,000 orcs. I'm an elf. I've got a bow with like 2 arrows, but I keep getting more. None of it makes sense.
Oh, did you see this video that I'm talking about?
The scene from movie, is it Infinite? No, when the one with Age of Ultron, yeah, where Hawkeye says something exactly like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
I feel like that's what would happen if Thingamajiggy, if yeah. And what's funny is that technically Josh Whedon is a good writer. Don't get me wrong. We can talk about that
Yeah.
one for hours.
I mean, he wrote Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He also wrote some comic books, Marvel comic books.
Yep.
He wrote Avengers. He wrote Age of Ultron. He directed Avengers,
Yes.
and he directed Age of Ultron.
Yes.
And then he did the Justice League, which was a flop.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like Age of Ultron and the what did you say now? Justice League movie is what destroyed his reputation.
Yeah.
And he himself finished off his reputation like a Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
Basically,
I see what you did there.
finished himself. Dude, it was just embarrassing.
Yeah, and that whole Ray Fisher situation.
Yeah. Did you hear what he said about Gal Gadot?
What happened?
You know, okay, the Ray Fisher, right? We all know about that, but did you hear what he said about Gal Gadot? Because apparently Gal Gadot was beefing as well.
No, what did you say about Gal Gadot?
Okay, basically there was an interview thing that went viral. Wait, gosh, I must remember the words now. He said Gal Gadot said thingamajiggy something about him. And then he was like, yeah, Gal Gadot probably doesn't understand because she doesn't speak English properly or some shit like that. And then,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. The internet.
jeez.
What?
Oh my goodness.
You're the same guy that made Buffy. What are you saying right now?
Dude. But also, can we be honest that
Mhm.
in saying that nobody really got Wonder Woman right than Zack Snyder?
Yes, yes. I think we can. I think. Oh God, this is so complex. I think we may have given. Is it Catherine Bigelow, right? I forgot her name. Am I right? It's Catherine Bigelow, right?
Who's that?
The director of Wonder Woman.
No, that's Patty Jenkins.
Sorry, my bad. Catherine Bigelow was, I think, the one with Anthony Mackie with the sniper. What
Anthony Mackie as a sniper.
police one? It had Anthony Mackie and Ryan, not Ryan Reynolds.
Jeremy Renner.
No man. The guy that plays Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's Jeremy Renner.
Oh yes,
I know the one you're talking about where they're soldiers, ne? Just give
yes,
me a second. The laptop is about to die. I think it's not charging.
man.
But please continue. I'm listening.
So, yeah, anyway, my point is, yeah, Catherine Jenkins is that her name? Yes,
Yeah,
I
Patty Jenkins.
credit. Remember at that point, the Superman movie had come out, so we gave her all the credit, and we gave Zack Snyder the credit for the third act because we were all like, maybe I think Zack Snyder made the act because none of us, because remember, no one likes the third act of Wonder Woman because it undermines the main storyline if you actually think about it.
Right. Someone said that I was talking to Buck and Devalo, I think it was last week, and they were saying that the third act feels like it was taken off the page from Dragon Ball, the saga where Gohan erupts and then destroys. It's like she became Super Saiyan 2 all of a sudden and started fighting Ares.
It makes sense. It was unjustifiable that she just really got a billion times stronger, number one. And number two, because it was like, you're the weapon. Oh, okay. And then she blows him up and it's like, I've got the power of love. No, you didn't set that up. Number well, they did set up that they said it like 1,000 times. Guys, killing one person won't end the war. Killing one person won't end the war. Then they kill Ares, and next thing you know, everyone on the base starts hugging each other. Like, I thought you said killing one person didn't end the war.
Right.
So it undermined itself. And then everyone, at least in the movie circles, was like, I bet you Zack Snyder wrote that part. And then Patty Jenkins wrote all the first two acts.
Oh.
Only for Wonder Woman to have for Patty Jenkins to have full control of Wonder Woman 2, and then everyone go, what garbage is this?
Right. Because Wonder Woman 2 feels like Richard Donner's Superman film in the 70s.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it's like, why are we watching a Christopher Reeve impression from Gal Gadot all of a sudden?
And it's so corny, and dude, it's so corny and so campy and so weird. Meanwhile, if you look at the Snyder cut, you're like, I feel like, nah, dude. If you look at the Wonder Woman, the opening of Wonder Woman, you know what I mean? Where she's like, dude, those moves that she was pulling there.
At the bank, right? Yeah. Brilliant.
Oh, dude, and they had the Bolton from Game of Thrones as the bad guy. What's it? Not Ramsey, the father, Roose Bolton or something like that. Yeah,
right.
It's him, right? You noticed it was him, but yeah.
I didn't actually, but now that you mention it, I need to look at that scene again. Who was it? The guy who had the bomb?
Yeah, the guy had the bomb. Yeah, the one that was running the whole show, basically. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You think about how wonderfully done and how brutal that action scene was, and you're like, I feel like. Then you think about how beautiful the Flash's moment is, along with
one of the best scenes in superhero history, in my opinion.
And then you're like, are you guys sure the third act wasn't Patty Jenkins? Are you still sure it's not Zack Snyder?
Right.
Though the hate that Zack Snyder got is honestly unfair.
You know what? Let's be honest. In hindsight, as fans,
yes,
we owe Zack an apology. And the reason I believe we owe him an apology is we were comparing him to MCU. And the biggest mistake you can ever make about DC is comparing it to Marvel, because Marvel mostly copies DC stuff.
Yes, and also they have two. In my opinion, they have two different ethos.
Right.
Core of Marvel are the heroes.
Right.
That makes sense. Like Iron Man, he's an alcoholic. He goes through all the stuff. Captain America goes through all the stuff.
Right.
Where the DC, it's all about metaphors and the exterior threat. If that makes sense. So Batman, I remember someone once said it in such a cool way. Like all of Batman's villains are a metaphor for Batman. The danger of Batman's intelligence, the Riddler.
Yes.
The danger of Batman's want for order, the Joker. The danger of Batman's strength, Bane. Does that make sense?
Right.
Because of the maxed out version of Batman's overall stats, all come together in the Batman villains. The bane of Superman's existence, Brainiac.
Yeah.
Strength matched with Brainiac. All that.
His connection with his home planet, Zod.
Exactly.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's perfect like that. I would say sometimes the in-between people are Supergirl. Supergirl, I feel like that's more of like it's dark like DC as it should be, but it's more marvelous because it's all about Supergirl herself.
Right. Right.
So Supergirl could almost work as a Marvel character more than a DC character, but the dark universe she lives in with the ring, I feel like the ring is what makes her DC.
Right.
But the ring, the Red Lantern, there we go, Red Lantern. That is DC. But the inner turmoil of her being a victim of genocide. Do you know what I mean? Her people, Superman doesn't understand because he was a baby.
Yes.
But Thingamajiggy fully understands because she was a kid.
Right.
And she understands.
And she was like 16 or something, right?
Yes.
She was a whole teenager, right?
She was a full-on teenager. She understood her culture. She understood her universe that she was in. Right. She understood his family, her surroundings, and it was all taken away. Nothing. She understands that Clark can't. That's what makes her unique and almost makes her better than a Marvel character in a way. I'm not sound like a Marvel hater, but
that's the thing. That's why I'm saying DC for me, man. I like it slightly more than Marvel.
Yes, I'm a DC man. I like Iron Man, the whole alcoholic thing. I think that's cool. Cause I like pain. Maybe put it like that.
Yeah.
With books.
And Spider-Man captures that perfectly because he's a flawed character, extremely flawed.
And just the shit that happens to him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, his inability to save Gwen Stacy because he doesn't understand, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
Uncle Ben.
The weight of responsibility is the main theme of Spider-Man, of course, definitely.
Yeah.
And his actions, which one could say it's moments of weakness that punish him forever. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Uncle Ben, moment of weakness. He could have stopped that guy, but they had just insulted him, which is true. And then, okay, now we've got to cross over because technically I haven't read that many comics. But if we talk the movies, then you can kind of see the individual. Yo, dude, there's another underrated director right there, Sam Raimi. I feel like we all need to talk about him at some point.
We do. Just give me a second, guys. Batman Begins. We basically touched everything. It's done. We just didn't say it, but just to say it, we are done with Batman Begins. We watched. We captured everything. The only thing we didn't say is that there's a part where Commissioner Gordon finally builds the bat signal and basically calls Batman, and then he tells him about this character called the Joker, shows him a card, and they say they'll deal with it, and then that's the end of the movie. Thank you. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
Okay, I'm sorry I got so distracted.
Yeah, it's okay. Sam Raimi, right? You were saying something about Sam Raimi?
Sam Raimi, about how that man understood Spider-Man so well.
100%. 100%.
He understood Spider-Man better than Mark Webb did. Mark Webb is the guy who did
Who did the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, yeah.
I don't know if he did both, but I know he did 2 for a fact. I think he did both. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, he understood him way more. Like Mary.
And I think is it David Watts who's doing the current Spider-Man movie? Is it David Watts or Paul Watts or something?
I'm 60% sure you're right. I'm not sure. I haven't paid attention to the director that much. I haven't watched it because the reason I know the director is because I watched the movie like 4 times. You know what I mean?
Was that
So I haven't watched Homecoming and these movies enough times to be like, okay, that's a director right there. You know what I mean?
So
if you want to be a director, I feel like everyone should do that. Watch a movie more than once.
Yeah. And watch the credits. We're not crazy to check all these credits. We watch them because we want to know who we're involved.
Who was it? I haven't seen. Absolutely worth it. You see what the atmosphere was like. Yes.
Exactly. You have to know.
100%. And you can see Sam Raimi. So basically, I mean, Mary Jane is a bad singer. I think Mary Jane failing and Spider-Man failing are two different things Like, for example, people love Miles Morales. Really like Miles Morales. I don't love it, but I really like it. That's another discussion.
Okay.
But I would say the way Spider-Man fails is so much better in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man than even in Miles Morales.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But okay, let me give you an example. Think about it. The people around Batman, Lucius Fox, he's the best scientist. Do you know what I mean? Rachel, the best lawyer. Uh, Alfred, the best butler. Do you know what I mean? Think about your favorite movies. Think about Thingamajiggy, and you'll notice there's something. I feel like there needs to be a name for it. You can call it the best of the best syndrome. Anime does this a lot, actually. You'd be surprised. Anime, it turns out the Naruto's class, all the best ninjas. Do you know what I mean?
The Rookie 9, yeah.
Yeah. The Jujutsu Kaisen, all the best spirit guys.
Students, yeah.
This
curse
is the
users.
best. Yeah, exactly. They say these are the best generation of curse users coming up, where everyone's the best of the best. Mary Jane got kicked out of her first debut performance on day one. They were like, "How do we get out of here?"
Right.
And everything. He doesn't get a scholarship to ever. He's working in pizzeria. He's Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean? And like, for example, Captain America, the one with Anthony Mackie, what is it called again? Captain America.
Wait, you mean the movie that introduces him, the On Your Left thing?
No, the TV show.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes. With that one, they kind of show him struggling to make money, but that was a metaphor for racism. It wasn't a metaphor for him struggling because you forget about it.
Yeah, because people are like, he's an Avenger. Why would he struggle?
Why are you struggling? Nigga, write an ebook. Done.
Despite an ebook, the government should be
funding you.
Funding these guys. Like, I mean, I remember in Hawkeye, he would go to a restaurant and they would say it's on him, it's on them. You know, even in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Yes.
They're like, no, it's okay, it's on us. Because, dude, we saved the world. What the hell?
Exactly. 100%. But then no one does it as well as Thingamajiggy. Because remember, when he gives up his powers in Spider-Man 2, his life gets better.
Yeah, you know? as Peter, his life as Peter gets better, yeah.
His life as Peter gets better, which means, and it goes out of its way to prove that, yes, there's a consequence for the life that he's living right now.
Right.
And in a way, no one has done that since. Maybe you can say Logan.
Yeah.
But then one could argue that you're kind of mentally filling in the gaps for the movie when the movie starts, and then you get to feel Logan's experience. Still a masterpiece movie. But still, I would say Logan, Spider-Man 2, and then obviously the studio ruined Spider-Man 3. Even though I still enjoy it, I think it's overhated. It's got many problems, don't get me wrong.
Topher Grace is one of them. And I don't blame Topher Grace because he's a brilliant actor. Yeah. It's the studio because they forced Venom in the storyline. Venom was not supposed to be the storyline.
And because he was in there, it made Sandman useless. What was Sandman? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because for the most part, he's off screen.
Yeah, he's off screen. He shows up like 3 times and he leaves. What a waste of footage.
And the other sort of villain was the Green Goblin, which was Harry Osborn. And then, so you can see that had Venom not been there, it would have ended with Harry still sacrificing himself, and he probably would have been killed by the sun. Probably.
Yeah. Or it could have been like, they could have gotten rid of Sandman and Thingamajiggy and just made it against Osborn. And then the mental battle that he has with his head father, and they're just going back and forth as Spider-Man's trying to help. Kind of like they did with the new one. God, that movie was surprisingly good. What's it? Spider-Man, not for Home. Is it Homecoming? No, Homecoming is the first one. Far From Home is the second one. Third one is called what?
No Way Home.
Yeah. If you think about it, it's a Goblin movie. Do you know what I mean? That man steals the whole thing, in my opinion. So they could what's his face? James Franco could have carried the villain part of that.
No, for me, personally speaking, he was the best part in Spider-Man 3 for me. You
Yes.
hate him, you feel sorry for him,
Mhm.
then you hate him again, then you love him again. Like,
Yes.
and someone said the same thing in Face Off. If you remember Face Off, I feel like Face Off was just basically a way to show how versatile Nicolas Cage
Oh, yes.
and John Travolta were. Because
Mhm.
in the beginning you hate. I mean, okay, in the beginning you love John Travolta.
Mhm.
In the second act you hate this guy.
Yeah.
In the last act you love him again because the guy who was portraying John Travolta in the second act is actually Nicolas Cage's character, and that shows you how brilliant James Franco was because
Mhm.
you hated him when he was fighting Peter, then he lost his memory and he became Harry again, and you started loving him, and then he fell in love with Mary Jane. But Mary Jane is such a
She's
you guys will fill in the blanks in your head.
forget how bad Mary Jane actually is. Like she's the problem.
But I think, man, if you and I, you know what? I think maybe the next time we do a video, let's talk about the Spider-Man films
Yeah.
because,
Let's talk at
um,
some point.
pardon?
Remember I told you I hate Wonder Woman, but I
Yeah,
love Supergirl. We need to talk about that still, like really go into it. Like because I want us to talk about what is personality in film. And I really want us to really go over what it is. Because again, as you know, I think Wonder Woman has no personality. Where
yeah,
yeah. Whereas Supergirl, of course, does. I already went over it now. So like
sure.
you know what I mean? And like Black Widow, I would say in Winter Soldier, they give her a personality.
Yes, they do.
They give her cool moves in the first what's it? Is it Avengers? Is that the first time you see her?
No,
Yeah.
no, it's an Iron Man 2. You see an Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Personal.
I wouldn't say she has a personality there. She has cool moves, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
But then I think Avengers is the first time you really get to see her.
yeah,
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 that she just has cool moves.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? But she really
Sorry,
has personality in Winter Soldier. Yeah.
sorry. I wanted to say that um, Mary Jane. I just wanted to get this point across.
Yes.
The reason she's so toxic to herself is that she grew up in a very toxic household. If you remember her dad, so the reason she hops on from one relationship to another, and it's that she didn't grow up in a stable home, and because of that, she's not used to stability.
I guess, yeah, that definitely. I mean, she dates the bully. That's funny. But in the first movie,
I mean, she dated Flash, then dated Harry, then wanted Peter. Peter rejected her, then dated the astronaut, John Jameson's son.
and dished him in like the same movie.
Oh, but that's messed up, eh?
Yep.
Leaving
And
someone at the altar, I can't even
yeah.
imagine what someone might go through
Now
because of
she
that.
never looked back. She never looked back. It's
She didn't.
yeah. You forget they don't even mention her in the third movie or whatever movie it is. Which movie is it? Is it in the second movie or is it the
It's the
third one?
no, it's the second one where she ran from the altar.
Yes.
It's the
Yeah.
second one in the end.
Yeah. In the third movie, you didn't even mention him.
Yo, dude, it's messed up.
Yeah. So, dude, that's its own episode right there. For the streets. He likes powerful men.
They should have. I think you're right. I think a perfect Spider movie would have been like the Harry thing, like you said. But I think it also would have carried more weight if, when Peter was going through whatever he was going through, Mary Jane started regretting leaving the altar and all of that. I think that would have made it a bit more. I mean, it would have been like a soapy, but I think it would have made it more realistic in a sense that Peter started dating Gwen, because the first Gwen we see was played by Bryce Dallas Howard in the third one, who was Topher Grace's girlfriend.
Yes.
But I think that would have worked because if you remember in the third one, Peter wanted to marry Mary Jane.
Yes.
So that would have played on well that it seems like Mary Jane is always running away from marriage
Yes. While
type
the
of thing.
most powerful person in the room, astronaut, billionaire, Spider-Man, superhero. Damn. I never thought of it like that until now.
Exactly. Exactly.
I feel like there's a deeper psychology there, definitely, and that could have been dug into. We get rid of Sandman. That's what 20 minutes of footage that we could have
Right.
on a character drama, and
Right.
also, and to make it interesting, what we do is we do the old bomb under the table thing, you know,
Right. Right.
because remember, Sam Raimi is a horror movie guy.
Yes.
There's scenes in Spider-Man is the Doc Ock. I call it the Independence Day scene. In fact, I think I made a TikTok about how is it me or a scientist as endangered as helicopters in movies? Because if there's one thing you're going to see a helicopter die and a scientist dying in a movie, that's like
Right.
the norm. So like when they kill all those scientists, dude. Um, so
You
this
just see
man,
the shadows.
yeah,
You don't see anything. You just see the hands going in and yeah,
yeah, and you see that
scary
one
parts.
trying to cut it with the saw, does nothing. Yep, you kind of see some specks of blood, and it's brutal.
Yeah.
So what he should have done was maybe add some more horror to it, make the goblin scarier.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then build it up more as okay, this is gonna go down eventually.
Right.
This is building towards Tarantino it. So kind of like Tarantino, doesn't matter what the movie is, it's about to go down by the third act. So you
Right.
set that up. This is my perfect Sam Raimi movie envisioned right now. So you got this build up between Mary Jane. Um, Mary Jane's life is falling apart, Sam Raimi style, because she's with Spider-Man. So the consequence of the storyline, consequence of Spider-Man's life is kind of going negative. Mary Jane's life is kind of going negative as well. And Mary
Right.
is feeling jealous and upset and lashes out toxically at Peter Parker.
Right.
And Thingamajiggy, who's also being toxic and is lashing out at Peter Parker as well. And then this toxic trilogy, this toxic threesome kind of like a cauldron, like a bubbling cauldron mixes together and just gets more toxic and toxic to the point where like I don't even know, dude, but like and then as the things get toxic, it feeds back onto Spider-Man's negativity. It feeds into Hobgoblin's negativity, and then that kind of brings out the voice. You know what I mean? That brings
Mm.
negative, and now it becomes a battle of two voices speaking over there and two voices speaking over here. And can you
Oh,
imagine?
flip. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, and also, yeah, no, you don't include Venom, yeah, but yeah,
But also, for those who don't know, there's two characters in this trilogy who I think Remy wanted to eventually turn into villains in the long run. The first one is the professor at college who was Doc
yeah,
Ock's friend.
yeah.
That guy becomes the lizard because he only had one arm, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy at the who made sure that Peter doesn't get in because Peter was late at the theater. That is Mysterio. That's the original Mysterio. If you remember Mysterio, the original in the comics, Mysterio was a theater something something. Yeah, that was Mysterio.
Joe Cam, what's his name? I'm
What's his
not
name
Joe Cam.
again? That's the guy who was
Yes,
also directed by Sam Raimi, by the way.
yes, they're best friends. Yes,
Yeah, because he was also in the Multiverse of Madness.
that's his name. All right,
Who?
Bruce Cam- Bruce Campbell. I think that's his name.
I don't know, possibly, but
Um,
yeah, he makes sure to include it. I mean, he included him in Multiverse of Madness, and there was a nice Easter egg. Okay, well, okay, what are Easter eggs? So Easter eggs are references of something else. Maybe it could be another IP. It could be something from popular culture. It could be something from. So basically, an Easter egg is just basically teasing you. Pardon?
it could be something of my director's previous work as well. To like
Yes, yes,
universe and like that. Yeah.
yes. So to actually add on to your point, in
Mhm.
Multiverse of Madness, the guy who punched himself in Multiverse of Madness, that
Mhm.
is Bruce Campbell, and he did that in what's it? Is it Evil Dead?
Yeah.
The Evil Dead franchise.
Yes. Not the newer ones. The OG ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
Must be pointed out. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Look, guys, this is the first episode. I
Yeah.
think we covered everything before we get into 2 hours. Let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. And yeah, like I said, this is the first episode called Africa in Frame. Huh? Right?
Yeah.
Africa in Frame podcast. And for myself, Cam and Rob Siveko, guys, we'll see you on the next episode. And do let us know your suggestions. We have a lot of movies to cover. We have a lot of topics that we probably will cover in the future. I mean, we've mentioned that we're going to be covering Wonder Woman and her personality or lack thereof. We're going to be talking about Sam Raimi films.
Mhm.
And I'm sure we're going to be doing The Dark Knight at a point and Dark Knight Rises. And we're probably going to be talking about other films that Christopher Nolan has directed. And we're going to be talking about Al Pacino. Yeah, we're going to be getting into it. So it's going to be a long run.
Yeah.
Do you have any parting words before we shut it down?
If you want to support me, buy my books. That's about it. I'm good.
Okay, I'll leave a link of Rob's books in the description below with links and everything. And yeah, guys, that's it. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.